On the edge of the galaxy, there was a cold mining colony called Zenthor 9. Thousands worked there, humans and aliens, side by side, but no one noticed her. She was always there, sweeping floors, head down, wearing a long, dark hood. People called her Ghost Girl. No one knew her name, no one cared. But Commander Jace, he watched her closely. She never spoke, never ate, never slept, and yet she was always moving. Lights flickered when she walked by. Machines slowed down. Something about her wasn't normal, something hidden. One night, Jace stayed late. The room was empty except for her. She turned, and under her hood, something glowed. Then she disappeared, and Jace knew she wasn't just a worker. She wasn't even from this time. Zenthor 9 was a cold place, a mining colony far from any star. People worked hard here day and night. Humans and aliens shared the same buildings, the same air, the same rules. Most came here to forget their past, or to earn enough credits to buy a better future. But not her. She was always there, quiet, alone, wearing the same dark gray hood every single day. No one knew her name, no one even asked. People just called her the Ghost Girl. She never answered. She never looked up. She just cleaned the halls, moved from room to room, and stayed out of sight. Commander Jace had seen her many times. At first, he didn't care. She was just a worker, sweeping floors like the rest. But over time, he noticed strange things. When she passed by a wall screen, it glitched. When she entered a room, the lights dimmed slightly. When she walked near the cargo lifts, they sometimes stopped working for a moment and then turned back on. It could be a coincidence, but something about her felt different. She never talked to anyone. She didn't eat in the cafeteria. She never waited in line for credits or gear. It was like she lived in the background of the station, like a shadow that never made a sound. Jace became curious. He started watching her from a distance, not in a rude way. He just wanted to understand. Who was she? Why was she always alone? One evening, Jace stayed late in the control hall. Most of the crew had gone back to the sleeping pods. The halls were quiet. He sat near the window, drinking a cup of warm synth tea, when he saw her again. She stood in the hallway, just outside the storage room, not moving, just standing. The lights above her flickered softly. A strange blue glow came from beneath her hood, almost like stars shining in the dark. Jace blinked. The glow faded. When he looked again, she was gone. The next day, he asked a few workers, "Hey, that girl with the hood, what's her name?" Someone laughed. "You mean the cleaner? She doesn't talk. Been here forever. Probably just a maintenance bot in disguise." Another said, "She's strange, man. Gave me chills once. Just sweeping and humming a song I couldn't hear. Creepy." But Jace wasn't afraid. He was fascinated. Later that night, he went back to the same hallway. This time, he brought a small scanner, just in case. He waited. Hours passed. Then, softly, almost silently, she appeared again. That same hood, same slow steps, same glow. Jace stepped forward. "Hey," he said gently. She stopped. "I just want to talk." He said. No answer. He took one more step. "I see you everywhere, but I don't even know your name." She slowly turned her head. The hood still covered her face, but something shimmered inside, something deep and bright, like stars far away. She said nothing, but her lips moved just slightly, and she smiled. Not a fake smile, not cold, a real smile, soft, quiet, as if she knew something he didn't. Then, she turned and walked away. The hallway lights flickered again, and the air felt warmer, just for a second. Jace stood there, confused. Back in his room, he found a small mark glowing on the floor, just outside his door. A shape like a circle with a line through it. It faded as he stepped closer. He touched the spot. Cold. That night, he couldn't sleep. His thoughts kept returning to her. That glowing under her hood, that soft, strange smile, that mark on the floor. Who was she? Why did no one else care? And why did he feel like he had just seen something not meant to be seen? Somehow, he knew this wasn't over, and deep inside, he felt it. She had noticed him. Commander Jace couldn't stop thinking about her. The strange hooded girl. Her soft smile, the way she disappeared so quietly, and the glowing mark outside his door. It had faded, but the memory stayed with him, clear as ever. That morning, he arrived early at the operations deck. He pulled up station records. He typed in everything he could remember: female, alien, cleaner uniform, hooded, nothing. He tried checking maintenance logs, no results. He even asked the base AI for her identity. The answer came back the same each time: no registered personnel. Matching your description. Jace frowned. That wasn't possible. She was always there. People saw her, talked about her. She swept the same halls every day. So why didn't the system recognize her later that day? He watched her again. From a distance, she moved through the main corridor, cleaning with slow, steady motions. Other workers walked past her, not even looking. Some even walked through the same space without noticing her at all. It was like she didn't fully exist, but Jace saw her. He always did. She paused near the power units, stared at them for a long time, then placed her hand gently on the wall. The power flickered for just a second, and then stabilized. Was that just chance, or did she do something? That night, Jace reviewed the hallway footage from earlier, but when the moment came, the exact minute she stood by the power unit, the screen glitched. Static. Nothing showed. The recording cut out for 8 seconds, and came back just as she turned to walk away. He rewound, played it again. Same thing. He checked other cameras. All showed the same gap. That section of time was gone. His curiosity turned into quiet wonder. He wasn't scared. Not really. But something inside him whispered, she isn't just a worker. She never was. Later, he walked alone through the sleeping halls. The station was silent. Soft hums of distant engines filled the background. He passed by the laundry unit, and there she was again, standing still, alone, her back toward him, her hood slightly raised. He approached slowly. You left a mark outside my room. She didn't move. You don't speak to anyone. You don't eat. The system doesn't even know you're here. Still, no answer. I think you're hiding something, he said, but I don't want to expose you. I just want to understand. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly she turned. Her face was still hidden beneath the hood, but he saw the same gentle shimmer inside, like light reflected on water. Her eyes weren't like any he had seen before. They didn't glow brightly. They shimmered soft, distant, and endless. She looked directly at him, this time, longer than before. Then she spoke. Her voice was calm, light, almost like a whisper carried by wind. You're not like the others, she said. Jace blinked. You can talk. You see me, she said. They don't. Why? He asked. She turned her head slightly. Because they choose not to. But I want to know, he said. Who are you? She paused, then said, not yet. Not yet what? He asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she reached out slowly and placed her fingers on the wall beside her. A soft, round mark appeared. It glowed softly. The same symbol he had seen outside his door. Then she turned and walked away again, her hood flowing behind her like soft fabric in the wind. Jace stood frozen. He touched the mark on the wall. It pulsed once, then disappeared. This time, he didn't try to chase her. He let her go. Because now he understood something very important. She was waiting for something or someone. And somehow, he had been chosen. Commander Jace felt like he was walking through a dream he couldn't wake up from. Since that quiet meeting in the hallway, his mind had not stopped turning. Her voice echoed in his thoughts, soft, clear, and unlike any voice he had ever heard. Just 5 words. You're not like the others. She had spoken to him, only him. And once again, she had disappeared before he could ask more. That morning, Jace skipped breakfast. He didn't join the briefing or the equipment check. Instead, he returned to the hallway where she had touched the wall. The glowing mark she left was gone now, but the wall felt warm beneath his hand, as if it remembered. He went back to the central database, not just looking for her now, but looking for everything. Every system glitch, every unexplained power drop, every strange report from the lower levels. And he found them. Tiny notes, hidden deep in old logs. Reports of lights flickering with no cause, doors opening without a signal. Tools vanishing and appearing days later in different locations. Nothing serious, always ignored, but always in the same zones. The zones where she worked, all these events, had her shadow behind them. She had never done anything wrong, never caused trouble, never asked for attention. But her presence had been changing things, slowly and silently, for a long time. Jace started walking those areas every night, alone, quiet, watching, listening. And then, something happened. In the energy room on level 4, he found a hatch slightly open, a hatch that should have been locked for years. He stepped inside. The space was cold and silent. Old cables ran along the walls, dust hung in the air like soft mist, and in the center of the room was a small platform. On it, someone had drawn the same symbol she had left before, a circle, with a line cutting through the center. Jace knelt beside it. The lines were made with a soft blue powder that shimmered like starlight. He touched it. The room lit up with quiet light. Asterisk. The air felt strange, almost like it was breathing with him, and then he heard it just behind him. Footsteps. Slow, careful. He turned. She was there. Hood pulled forward, silent as always, but this time, something was different. Her hands were not empty. She held a small cube. It glowed faintly in her fingers, shifting colors like water under moonlight. Jace stood up slowly. "What is that?" he asked. She didn't speak. Instead, she held out the cube. He hesitated. Then he reached forward and took it from her hands. As soon as his fingers touched the surface, he felt something, a memory that wasn't his. A world of stars, a storm of colors, a city floating in space, voices in a language he had never heard, and her standing at the center, her eyes full of light. Jace gasped and stepped back. The vision vanished. He looked at her. She spoke softly. "You saw it. What was that?" he asked. "My world," she said. "Long gone now. You're not from here, are you?" he asked. She shook her head. "I was placed here," she said. "To watch, to wait. For what?" he asked. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, she pulled back her hood just a little. Not all the way. Just enough for him to see her skin, pale and glowing softly, like the moon behind clouds. Her hair shimmered with silver blue light. Her features were delicate, almost like carved glass, but alive, moving, feeling. "You," she said. "Me?" Jace stepped back. "Why?" "Because you saw me, and you still see me." Jace didn't understand. Not fully, but he didn't look away. He felt calm, even though his heart was racing. "Why don't others see you like this?" he asked. "They see what they expect," she said. "You saw what you believed." He held the cube again. The colors inside were moving faster now, glowing more brightly than before. She turned to leave. "Wait," he called softly. "Will you tell me your name?" She paused. Then, without looking back, she said, "Kira," and just like that, she was gone. But the name stayed in his heart, and the cube pulsed quietly in his hand. He looked down at it. And for the first time, he realized this wasn't just about her anymore. Whatever she was waiting for, it had already begun. Asterisk. Commander Jace didn't sleep that night. He sat on the floor of his small quarters, the glowing cube resting in his hand. Its light moved gently, changing shades like a quiet dream, blue, white, silver, then back again. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw pieces of the vision it had shown him earlier. A sky filled with stars, a strange city floating in silence, and Kira standing at the center, waiting. But waiting for what? And why him? He placed the cube on the desk and stared at it for a long time. He didn't understand what it truly was, but he knew it wasn't just a piece of technology. It was connected to her somehow, alive, like a part of her memory that now lived inside him. The next morning, everything looked the same. People moved through the hallways, machines hummed, officers gave orders. But to Jace, everything had changed, because now he knew something no one else did. One of the colony's quietest workers was not a worker at all. She was something else, something ancient, something hidden in plain sight, and he had seen her. He wanted to speak to her again, to ask more questions, but she was nowhere to be found. He checked every hallway, every level where she usually cleaned. No sign of her. It was as if she had vanished completely. Then, a small alert appeared on his personal screen. A system request had been made from a location that wasn't on the map, a space below level 7, a zone marked as inactive for over 20 years. Jace hesitated, but then followed it. The hallway grew colder the deeper he walked. The lights above flickered softly. No voices, no machines, just silence. And then, he found it a narrow path leading to a sealed door. The moment he stepped close, the cube in his hand glowed brighter. The door opened without a sound. Inside, the room was round and dark, but not empty. Kira stood in the center. Her hood was down now. She turned slowly as he entered. The soft silver glow of her skin lit the room gently. Her hair floated slightly, like it wasn't held down by gravity. She looked calm, as if she had been waiting there forever. "You found it," she said. "I followed the signal," Jace replied. "You followed your choice," she corrected gently. He walked closer. "Why are you here, Kira? Why this place?" She looked up at the walls. "This was once a listening post," she said. "Long before your people arrived, my kind built it to hear what others could not." "Hear what?" She touched the wall, and it lit up. Small symbols appeared, moving slowly across the surface like tiny streams of light. "The voice of space," she said. "The echoes of time. Warnings." Jace didn't fully understand, but he listened. "My people are gone," she said. "Scattered. Silent. I was left behind with a purpose to wait for someone who could see beyond what is shown. Someone who would not ignore the quiet. Someone who would care." Jace looked down. "I'm just a soldier." "No," she said, stepping closer. "You are something more. You chose to see me. But what do you need from me?" he asked. She lifted her hand. The cube floated from his fingers and hovered between them. "You are part of it now," she said. "You saw the memory. You held it. And now it responds to you." The cube changed color again, faster now. It hovered higher, and then gently lowered into Jace's hands once more. He looked at her. "What does it want me to do?" "It wants you to remember," Kira said. "To awaken what has been sleeping. To understand what's coming." "What's coming?" he asked, his voice quiet. Kira didn't answer right away. Her eyes turned toward the ceiling, as if listening to something far away. "There is a signal." "In the dark," she said softly. "Something old. Something curious. It watches this colony. It watches me, and now it watches you too." Jace felt a chill move through him, but not from fear. It was something deeper, something real. "So, what do we do?" he asked. She looked back at him. "We prepare." "For what?" "For truth." He stood beside her in the quiet room, staring at the symbols glowing on the wall. And in that moment, he no longer felt like just a visitor on Zenther 9. He felt like a part of something bigger, something ancient, something waiting to wake up. The air inside the research station was thick with quiet tension. Everyone moved around the hooded girl, acting like she didn't exist. She sat alone in the far corner of the common room, her hands folded neatly in her lap, head lowered as if she were trying to disappear. But one human saw her differently. Commander Elian, now spending more time on base after his last off-world mission, had started noticing patterns. People avoided her not with fear, but with indifference, as if they were trained to look away, as if her presence caused discomfort no one wanted to admit. That morning, while walking past the communication deck, he overheard the technicians whispering. "She's not like us," one said. "Yeah, I heard she came from one of the restricted sectors, never registered, no ID, just showed up." It wasn't what they said. It was how they said it, as if they weren't talking about a person at all. Later, he found her again in the garden dome, quiet, still, watching the fake earth flowers sway under artificial wind. She didn't react when he approached. "Do you come here often?" he asked. Gently, Dachi looked up, just slightly, enough for her eyes to meet his. They were strange, not cold, not lifeless, but like glass covering something hidden. "I listen to the roots," she replied softly. He blinked. "The roots, the plants speak, not with words, with memories." She looked back down. "They remember things that most forget." Elian didn't know how to respond, but he sat beside her anyway. There was a long pause. Then, unexpectedly, she spoke. Again, you don't see what they see. That's why you're different. He tilted his head. What do they see? They see danger in silence. You hear something else. You're not afraid of stillness. That evening, Elian requested access to her rival logs, but there were none, no transport records, no bioscans, not even a food log. She was a ghost on paper, but here she was real, breathing, and clearly more than what others believed. In the following days, Elian observed more. When lights flickered, she looked up moments before it happened. When storms approached, she whispered warnings hours ahead. At first, he thought it was coincidence, but not anymore. And then it happened. A strange signal was picked up by the stations. Long-range receiver, a pulse, rhythmic and low, hidden inside regular communication lines. It didn't match any known alien or human pattern. Analysts were confused, but she wasn't. She walked into the control room, uninvited. Just before the second signal hit, "It's not a message," she said softly. "It's a search pattern." Everyone stared at her. One officer tried to shoo her away, but Elian spoke. "Let her talk." The hooded girl stepped closer to the screen. "They're looking for something, not here, but through us, through anyone who listens too long." The room fell silent. "You mean, someone's scanning us?" a technician asked. She nodded. "Not someone. Something older than words." Her tone was calm, but the weight behind it made Elian's spine tighten. "How do you know this?" he asked. She slowly pulled something from under her sleeve. A tiny shard of crystal, glowing faintly, not tech, not metal, and not like anything Elian had ever seen. "It's calling back," she said, "and it's almost heard me." Suddenly, the lights dimmed, screens flickered, alarms started to blink, then stopped. Everything returned to normal, but nothing felt normal anymore. She turned to Elian. For the first time, he saw her eyes clearly, deep silver, shifting like mist. "It knows I'm here now," she said quietly. "I need your help before it remembers why." The sky above the spaceport turned soft orange as the sun of Alaris 3 began to set. The long shadows stretched over the metal platforms, and soft lights flickered on one by one. People were returning home, whispering and pointing, though none dared to approach the girl in the corner. She still wore the hood, though now it looked different. It didn't hide her anymore. It framed her. She stood beside the human who had seen her when no one else did. Since that moment, everything had changed. The officials from the Unity Council were late. They had called for her, not knowing who she truly was. Now they were coming to meet the girl they once ignored, not realizing they were about to speak with the last descendant of an ancient race. Long thought lost, she didn't speak, not yet. Her gaze was calm as her fingers rested on the smooth surface of a glowing cube she had carried since childhood. Only the human knew what it truly was, and only he had heard the name that echoed from it the night before, a name that hadn't been spoken aloud in centuries. As the council's ship descended slowly onto the pad, the human leaned in slightly and whispered, "Are you ready?" She nodded. Her hood fell gently from her head, revealing her fully now. The city's lights reflected in her eyes that now shimmered not only with hidden history, but with purpose. "I'm not afraid anymore," she said softly. The hatch of the ship opened. High-ranking ambassadors stepped out, holding carefully prepared documents. But they paused when they saw her. She wasn't what they expected. Not just a girl in a cloak. Not just someone different. She stood tall, calm, and unshaken. Even the wind that had played with her cloak seemed to slow down around her. She took a single step forward. The human didn't move. He simply stood beside her, silently, with quiet confidence. "I remember now," she told the officials. "Why I came here. Why I was hidden. What they wanted me to forget." The oldest of the ambassadors narrowed her eyes. "Who are you?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she opened her palm and revealed the cube. The moment it caught the fading sunlight, it began to hum gently and hover above her hand. Symbols appeared in the air, old, glowing, and unfamiliar to everyone, except her. Then she answered, "I am the last voice of the Ildanari, and I remember the promise your ancestors made to mine." Silence followed, not because they didn't believe her, but because the cube itself had spoken in their language, repeating her words in a deep, Clear tone, for the first time in decades. The Unity Council had nothing to say. The girl, once ignored, now had the entire planet listening. And beside her, the human who had once just offered a kind glance stood as if he always knew this moment would come.